Welcome back to the Vertu YouTube channel. Today is a good day because I'm excited over a Renault. Yes, the Renault 5. This thing just oozes cool. It is in everybody's top 5 cars of today, 100%. All right, I might have exaggerated, but I think it probably is. It's a throwback. It's born in the 1970s and now it's back. Let's cut to some shots of this as well as those old beautiful Renault 5s of yesteryear while I get ready to drive it. Right, let's talk about the design, because the design team at Renault must be dining out on this car alone for a very long time, and they deserve a massive round of applause because I don't know anyone that doesn't like this. For a start, the headlights, they look so nice. Again, there's enough of the old Renault 5, but coupled with the new Renault 5. So I think that's really nice. We've got this sort of carbon fibre effecty type bit here on the grille. Again, it looks very electric. We don't have to worry about the green because it's nice and sleek and lots of grooves and edges. It's just really nice. We've got some sort of air intake, a little bit of fakery there, but we don't care because it's just lovely. We've got a bit of tricolor in there as well, just to remind that we're French. Yes, we do. And this is really cool. This tells you that you're electric because when you pop it in there, this 5 lights up, and it actually lights up depending on how much battery you got. So only a little bit of the 5 will be lit up if you've got a little bit of battery, but it'll fully light up if you've got fully charged. And the good thing is this is a throwback nod to that original air intake on the old Renault 5. We will cut to some shots of that, won't we? Yes, we will. There we go. I think that's really nice. And I think the front end is a thing of beauty. But let's go around the car and tell you why the whole of it is lovely. As we move down the side, you're going to see more beauty. I think the side profile of this car is the most beautiful side profile you're going to get on any hatchback out there. And the word customization, is that a word? Well, we'll go with it, is the order of the day because you can literally customize everything. Let's start with the wheels. 18-inch alloys as standard across all models, which I think is great. And these are diamond cut as well. You can change the style of them, just to let you know as well. And further down the side, let's talk about the fact that it's a Roland Garros edition we've got, just to make sure that you know you're in a French car. We've got the French Grand Slam on the side. Now, if you're a fan of tennis, you're going to really like that, and there's some even more prettier nods to Roland Garros on the inside, which I'll come on to in a moment. But the reason I'm saying customization is because you can tweak all of this to fit your specifications. So we've got contrasting roofs, we've got contrasting side skirts. They can be changed to different colors, have a play around with it. Contrasting mirror caps as well. We've got the black and gray combo, I think looks really nice. You could even, on some of the trims, have a little bit of a different sort of shadow line or whatever it's called over the windows as well. This has obviously got the metallic sort of grey as we've got on there, but you can choose a different. On the yellow versions, they've got red across here of the windows. I think it looks really smart. So there's plenty of other things you can do. Obviously this is a Roland Garros edition, but there's lots of other little graphics you can have. The different play around with different 5s and different, it just looks really cool. Basically, Fiat 500 played around with, you can have different editions and different color combos or whatever, but this is in a different category altogether. Right, the back is more of the same. It looks really nice. Now, to make you aware, on the entry level model you can get a black bumper instead of the whole sort of paint job blending in. I think this looks nicer with this as opposed to the black bumper. We've got a black rear diffuser that goes with the side skirts and the roof, which looks really nice. And we've got this again, this effect continuing right round from the front to the back. And I particularly like the contouring on the lights, the rear lights. It is really nice. And we've got this little bit of fakery here that is another nod back to the air intakes on the old Renault 5 at the back. Let's cut to some of that as well. You love the way they linked it all from the 1970s to today, the modern day here in 2026. I think So much thought has gone into this car, and that's what I love about it most. And there we got a 5 just winking at us there. And by the way, we've got a sticker there that says Car of the Year. See, I wasn't lying. It's really Car of the Year, isn't it? All right, it's 2025, but let's just make it Car of the Year for 2026 as well, shall we? Right, on the inside of this, you're not just stepping into another Renault. This is what I love about it. Everything is just so nice, and it's got so much character. When you're in a Corsa and then you're in an Astra, there's only subtle touches, a little bit like the Renault Clio and the Renault Captur. This, they've just ripped up the script and said, let's make it cool. And that's exactly what they've done. This is the Roland Garros edition, I know I've mentioned, so we've got plenty of little additions that we're going to show you. Obviously, you've got Roland Garros Paris that's actually lit up there with a little bit of ambient lighting, which you can change, which is so nice. We've also got the seats that have actually got a little bit of netting effect there. I really like that. And we've got Roland Garros sort of stitched there into the seats. I think that looks really nice. We've got touches of clay around, clay colour, obviously they're not actually clay. When it comes to the wireless charging pad that's here, that is clay coloured. We've got the surround of the mats is also stitching with clay coloured stuff as well. It is really nice, this Roland Garros edition. But just the inside of a Renault 5, regardless of this being Roland Garros, is really nice. This is a nice leather effect cushion on here. Again, we've got the French flag there just to remind us, and that goes over here as well. We've got lots of material on the door that match the seats. So I am very happy about that. We have got touches of hard plastic knocking around, but because the aesthetic is so pleasing, I'm not even going to care about it. And I usually don't like hard plastic. I usually go on about it and start, I don't care, because everything else is so nice. Infotainment system wise, we've got a very nice sort of 2-screen system going on. It's tilted nicely towards me as well, like the Vauxhalls do. And again, I think the driver display is nice and big, so is the infotainment system, perfectly situated, and the driver display and the infotainment system does this cool little thing when you turn the car on. It's almost like a little display. I don't think I'll get bored of that. I think it's really nice. Also really adjustable. You can change the setup and the way the screen looks on here, and it just looks cooler than a lot of the other models. The infotainment system as well, easy to use. And the good news is I've got buttons as well for my climate control. You know I love buttons as well as it being on here. There's only one thing that's a bit weird. I can control my heated seats on here. I can control my heated steering wheel on here. But there's 2 things. I can't control the edges. It's weird. I can control those things, but I can't control there's some buttons there I can't press, like the fan, and I can't turn it off, and the AC, which is weird. It's almost as if they're supposed to work, but they don't. But I've got my buttons, so I don't mind, I don't think. Maps and the screen, super high definition, very easy. I've got a home button to be able to return back to what I know. It's very responsive as well, and I've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless, which is a nice touch as well. I've got the wireless charging pad, as I mentioned, with 2 USB-C ports and the old school 12 volt port as well. I'll go through the storage in a moment, but on the inside of here, I am very happy indeed. And as I'm in a chart-topping version of the Renault 5, I've obviously got my heated seats and heated steering wheel, as I mentioned. The steering wheel itself is quite sporty, quite small, but I've got a multifunctional steering wheel with buttons, which is fantastic. And I've also got a multi-sense button here. To you and me, that means drive mode. That's what that means, and I can just change the drive mode, sport, comfort, and what have you. So that's really easy. Usually, sometimes they hide it somewhere and you've got to put it, and maybe it's on the infotainment system, but here it is situated perfectly. In terms of stalks, I've got 3 over here and 1 over here. This one on the Roland Garros edition is really quite cool because it's almost like a tennis racket sort of material, the grip I really quite like that, and there's no stick, as you can see, because like Mercedes, I can flick my gears up here, drive, neutral, reverse. So there you go. A lot of people prefer the stick here because it's just what we're used to, but Mercedes have done it, so Renault have done it. Why not? And also this third stalk, I guess, isn't really needed. The whole world put the volume controls for your infotainment system and your music, etc., on the steering wheel as well as here. But Renault have decided to put it here. I don't know why, but I'll get over it because I just love the inside of this car. Also, something that gives it a little bit more character, the ceiling's got this sort of effect on it where it's got all the squares sort of in there, and there's just a little bit of pattern. There's a little bit of pattern, and it's really nice. Just gives it a little bit more character rather than just a plain roof. So again, I'm really pleased with that. I couldn't be more happier in the inside of this Renault 5 because it's just very cool. Seats wise, it's very comfortable. Lumbar support is fantastic. It's electric lumbar support by the touch of a button. And that is very good. Look, I've got a cushion in my back now by playing with that, and then I can adjust my seat via the lever here. Plenty of adjustment there, and good news is there's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel as well, so plenty there. For such a small car, you'd think they wouldn't need it, but there's plenty to get in a good driving position. Could I say anything more positive about this interior? Perhaps not. Right, before I go through the storage with my bottles and my wallet and my phone, there is a cool little button here that if you press twice, it turns off all the driving assists, so nothing will beep at you. That is cool, because usually on other cars I have to go through it one by one and get rid of them all, and Renault have made it very, very easy. Oh, God, I'm in love with this thing. Finally, you have an upgraded Harman Kardon sound system in this Roland Garros edition. So yeah, they really have got all bases covered. Right, okay, let's see what the storage is like up front here in the Renault 5. It doesn't get away with it just because it's pretty. It needs to be practical as well. Right, there's a little door bin here. When I say little, it's not very deep at all. It's quite long. Oh, it does fit my bottle in. It does fit my bottle in, and there's not much texture there. And there's a little bit plasticky, so it'll be rattling around. Okay, it fits my bottle in, but it won't fit a lot of rubbish in, which tends to be the thing that people do in their cars. Right, okay. Cup holders, one bottle there. Oh, it's not good for a little bottle, and this plays around with it a little bit. You can remove the divider and just have a big space there, but that's a little bit. What do we think of that? I don't know. Maybe only big bottles allowed is what we're going to say. Right, we've got this, which is quite deep. It's got a little bit of a. Does it fit my bottle in? It does. It just seems a little bit flimsy, on the flimsy side with this. Maybe I should stop doing this to it. But I would expect it's not very substantial, that. Very easy to open, but also feels like it's not closed. Anyway, that's a little thing. You can tell I absolutely love this car, and I don't want to say anything bad about it, but I guess if we're being pedantic. Right, charging pad there, so there's a little bit more space for there. If you want to put your phone there, you've got a little bit of space for your keys. Here's a little tray. There's a random little box or tray or whatever it is for something. Is that for your key? No, I don't know what it's for. I don't know what that is for. Sometimes cars do this, manufacturers do this. They just put a little box in there. I don't know, mince? I said mince on the last one, maybe mince. Not as in mince as in beef mince, as in mince. But yeah, there's another door bin there. Glove box, yeah, it's got some room in there. We've got the fuse box in there as well, but we've got a deep glove box that will fit the bottles in, no problem. Look, I'm not really complaining too much about the storage. Right, got to consider that Renault are trying to say that this could be a family car. Why do I think that? Because they've got Isofix up front. Very accessible, very accessible. So Isofix up front suggests we get a child seat in here. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze, I would say. But just to let you know, and obviously it's really easy actually to turn the airbag off as well. It's just on the side there. So that's a good thing. I'm just worried about the room for the child seat. But yeah, Isofix up front. Right, back seats. Now, I wasn't expecting a lot of room. Very similar to the Toyota Aygo that we had a little while ago. There isn't a lot of room, but it does claim you can get 3 across the back. There is space for that. Remember, the Aygo only had 2 in the back. It didn't have a 3rd seat. In fact, I do think you're going to struggle for 3 adults across the back here comfortably. My feet aren't really going under that seat in front either. That's quite cramped. However, my legs, I thought it was going to be more cramped, and headroom is a little bit more than I thought as well, which is good. However, there are a couple of drawbacks to the back of this car. It is the door bins. We do not have door bins on either side. We also do not have a USB-C point either, so we can't charge anything, but we do have pockets here for storing iPads and books and magazines. No one has a magazine anymore, but yeah, it's lacking, I guess, a little bit as a passenger, but hopefully this is mainly for around town driving, so you're not going to have to be in here long. Got a couple of lights back here. What are they for? Reading? I don't know, but I'm pretty comfortable, as you would expect in a small Renault 5. Isofix points are clear here with little clips. I prefer little clips than zips. Little clips are better than zips. We had zips the other day. I wasn't happy, but the jury's out on that because some people like zips. But yes, very clear and there and very accessible. Let's put a car seat in here so you can see how much room. Right, the boot space on a Renault 5. 322 litres, which I didn't think was too bad. It's a little bit bigger than the Toyota Aygo. The Toyota Aygo is tiny. We have a little bit of a load lip, as we expect, and we have the charging cable in a little box here in the boot because there isn't storage at the front under the hood. Sometimes there is storage for your lead. There isn't in this one. They just concentrated on putting the engine in there, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I'm not too fussed about my boot space because I know it's a little car, so therefore it's going to be small. Take that, cameraman, good catch. Right, okay, let's see what is letting down the seats. We've got little pulleys here to let down the seats from the back. I pull that up and I put that as a 60-40 split. And pull that up and that's pretty easy. And as you can see, there is a little bit of a load lip. Let's put some cases in to see how many we can get in. Now, we do have our lead in now. So we've got one big case there. And we've got another big case there. And we're going to struggle for the 3rd case with the cover on. So the cover's going to have to come off and then you're okay with 3. But catch that. Good catch again. 2, comfortable. 3, you've got to take the cover off. But I'm not too fussed about the boot. You're in a Renault 5. What more do you want to put in there? The drive of the Renault 5. Right, okay, it's important we tell you very quickly what options you have with this car in terms of engine and battery power and all sorts of stuff. There are a couple of versions of this car. There is Urban and there is Comfort. The Urban gives you 120 brake horsepower with 225 Newton meters of torque and 191 miles of charge. It also gets you to 60 in 9 seconds. Now, the higher powered version gets you 150 brake horsepower. It gets you 245 Newton meters of torque with 248 miles of charge. It also gets you to 60 in 7.9 seconds, so a little bit of a difference. I'm happy to say that we've got the 150 brake horsepower version, and driving it on a country lane today and dual carriageway has been absolutely brilliant. There's very little wind noise. You don't feel you're in a tiny car that's really trying to go to an appropriate speed. Is absolutely perfect at getting up to 60 and 70 miles per hour as we have done today, and that's 7.9 seconds. I am not surprised at all because the pickup on this car is brilliant. Okay, for a small car, I was worried about visibility. Not a problem out front. Out the back, I've got a pretty small rear view sort of viewing points, I guess. The passengers in the back will block your view. There's a couple of little pillars, but I didn't expect it to be great. But yeah, up front, not an issue at all. Now, because my steering wheel is well equipped with my drive modes, I'm in comfort mode, but I can flick to eco, and I can also flick to sports, and everything goes a red colour. And it is responsive. I can tell you straight away. Put my foot down and it threw me back a little bit in the seat, which is exactly what you want from a car that is such a classic. Obviously there were sport versions of this Renault 5 that genuinely will live long in the memory, and the fact that they've made this a little bit of a sports hatch was absolutely essential. It couldn't be another Toyota Aygo, and it's definitely not. It's actually nice to have a sport mode that actually makes a difference, because you'll have a lot of sport modes in other hatchbacks and SUVs that when you flip it in there, it's maybe a little bit of a sound that you'll hear the difference in, whereas this genuinely leaves the line that little bit quicker and everything feels so much more fun. There are other hatchbacks out there that do a great job. Vauxhall Corsa we drove recently, the Astra, the Renault Clio. We have driven a number recently and they're all very, very nice. However, for fun, in and around country roads, in and around town, this beats the lot, just because it has got a perfect balance between a comfortable hatchback and a little bit of a hot hatch. It's not at all a RS or anything like that. It is an electric hatchback, don't get me wrong. However, with 150 brake horsepower and flipping it into sport mode, the way it grips the road when you're flying around country lanes is so much fun. It will put a smile on your face for days. In terms of driving assist, it's got everything you can want in terms of SUVs and other hatchbacks. It's beeping at me, telling me my miles per hour. It's making sure I'm the correct distance in front. It's got sensors all around as well, helping me out there, but I can turn it off at the flick of that button as well. So it's got everything you can need from a safety point of view as well, just in case you're one of those people that worry when driving your little hatchback in and around town. In terms of infotainment system and driver display, not distracting at all. I quite like that it's up close and in my face a little bit. It's not distracting, no, which is good. And also you've got your Google Maps on there, and you can talk to Google and ask it funny things like this. Hey Google, was the Renault 5 Car of the Year in 2025?
On the website facebook.com, they say, Renault 5 won the prestigious Car of the Year 2025 award.
That it did, Renault 5. Thanks, Google. Okay, one thing that is a little bit of a gripe, I guess, is when I flip it into reverse mode, I get my reverse camera. And I would say it's not the most HD thing I've ever seen. It's a little bit of a complaint I think I had for the Captur as well. So Renault, sort out your reverse cameras. I mean, it's fine. Also, it's not actually covered, so you're going to have to clean that quite a bit in mucky weather. But in terms of its functionality, it's absolutely fine, because as you can see, I parked with no issue. Right, okay, to summarise, I'm just trying to think of something bad about this car. Give me a sec. I mean, it's amazing to drive in and around town and on country roads. It's so much fun. It's plenty fast enough. It's fully electric, so you don't have to worry about the economy. I mean, it's stunning on the inside. It's retro, it's a throwback. People hate the fact that we modernise cars, especially classics, because we get them wrong, but not with this one. This is incredible. It's the best looking hatchback out there, and I thought a Clio was nice. So there you go, it's stunning. I have nothing bad to say other than the fact that you might be a little bit cramped in the back as a passenger. That's the only thing. But do not take my word for it. I always say this, get down to Vertu, try one of these, you will not regret it. We will see you on the next one.